That One Piece special was crazy. I don't even know how to even describe it. It was very like heartfelt. They put a lot of flashbacks in it, but aside from that, it was great. But Sanji, all I could say after it ended was Sanji. Sanji. I just kept saying Sanji. I was thinking about it. I watched it yesterday, but I've been thinking about it since then. But let me just go over like the episode and some key points. And but first thing I want to talk about is the opening, the new opening. I believe it's called Hope. It was a pretty good opening, and it was done by the same person who did We Fight Together, which is opening 14. We also see some upcoming fights in the openings and some more members of Big Mom's family. She has a lot. She has a massive crew, which would be obvious because she's the emperor of like this part of the sea. In emperor, I would say. So yeah, we see a lot of them in the opening. A lot of her like crew members that Luffy is probably gonna face later on. I don't know how he's gonna get through all of them without Zoro, Robin, Usopp, God Usopp, KMO, Law. I don't know. Well, it wasn't part of the deal with Law to face off with Big Ma, but the Sanji stuff made it complicated. So it looks like they'll have to face about two emperors at the same time. Now that I think about it, I think the same thing that happened in Arlong Park is gonna happen here. Well, like when Luffy went to get Sanji for the first time, he just stayed to get Sanji while the others went on to find Nami, who was on her way to Arlong Park. So Zoro and the others went there. Meanwhile, Luffy was left with Sanji and Johnny and Yosaku, I believe, to like get Sanji and go back. But this time, Luffy is only left with Nami, Chopper, Brook, Carrot, and Pedro. So these are similar circumstances, all because of Sanji, I guess. Oh, but let me get into the episode instead of like making comparisons. So it started off with a flashback. There were, like I said before, there were a lot of flashbacks of the East Blue, and we already had the episode of East Blue, and then we had a flashback a few episodes ago, and then this special was full of flashbacks. I think half of it was flashbacks. So the episode starts with Chopper, well, Nami, talking to Chopper through a mirror to Brewer, and she's just bringing allies out of one of the mirrors. So Chopper's gonna says he's gonna use that power to like escape and get Sanji back. Then we see Luffy get back to he's slowly turning back to his regular size. Even though in the last episode he was huge, I have no idea how he did that. Hopefully it's explained later, or it could just be that he's just that hungry. Then they see Sanji, so Luffy runs over to him and Sanji just kicks him away and calls him a low-class pirate. But then Luffy's not convinced that Sanji actually means it, and Sanji says that he'll drive them away. When his brother Yonji asks if he can like help them drive them away or get rid of them, basically. Then we get a flashback again of Sanji, of him leaving Germa and then meeting Zeph. Then everything that happened since then and him returning to Germa, right before appearing before Luffy again. And then he remembers that his hands will get blown off if he tries to leave, and they'll kill Zeph. And what one of Big Mom's crew members before told him that whoever like doesn't come to one of Big Mom's tea parties, those people have never been heard of again. So they'll probably get rid of the Straw Hat Pirates if Sanji's the reason for him basically declining the invitation. Then we get back to the present where Sanji is telling them to leave and saying he's been looking down on Luffy, basically talking smack to Luffy so that he can like leave. Then when Sanji gets his Diablo Jambe ready and the soldiers just call it a glow, and I'll talk about that later. And then we see Sanji land his one of his kicks right on Luffy's face. And if you look at the animation, you can see that one of his like Luffy's skull cracks. And Luffy just takes it with no haki or nothing. And then Sanji says to use haki or he'll die. But Luffy says he doesn't want to because he just wants to talk and not fight. You know it's serious when Luffy just wants to talk to you instead of fighting. Because with Usopp, he just fought him because Usopp challenged him to a duel. Sanji didn't challenge him to a duel. He just straight went in and started kicking. So then Sanji keeps on kicking, and Nami tries to tell Sanji that Luffy had to fight Cracker to get here, but Luffy says to stay out of it because it's a duel. And Sanji just keeps kicking, and Luffy isn't gonna fight him back. And then Sanji uses his super kick, Flame Wheel, from the sky, and knocks Luffy out. And then Nami slaps the living daylights out of Sanji and says goodbye. And then Luffy gets up and says he doesn't believe that him, and that Sanji's kicks were only hurting him when they were kicking, and that their journey isn't over, and that he's gonna wait right there, right where he's standing, till Sanji comes back to him, and says that he won't eat anything besides what he cooks. So he's basically going on a hunger strike until Sanji comes back. And lastly, he says he can't become king of the pirates without him. And then we just see Sanji crying because he knows he can't do anything or it'll just hurt them. So this fight was a lose-lose situation because even if Luffy did fight back and win, and he stole Sanji back, he would then have to fight all of Sanji's brothers and his sister, plus Sanji's dad, plus the Germa soldiers, then escape Whole Cake Island, and he doesn't even know where Pedro and Brook are. So this would have been impossible, basically. I don't have the slightest clue as to how Luffy is gonna get Sanji back, unless Big Ma just disbands her whole pirate crew. I don't see this happening anytime soon. And that's what just made the fight even more heartfelt. The fact that no matter who won, it wasn't a win situation. And to get Sanji back, they're basically just gonna have to go to war with Big Mom's whole crew. Not to mention all of her crew is coming to the island for the tea party, which is gonna have Sanji's wedding in it. So the only way he has a chance to get Sanji back is to crash the wedding, basically. I really can't see how Luffy's gonna take back Sanji without Zoro and the others. But he did get Sanji to join him before, but there was actually no fight. All he had to do was beat Don Krieg, like we saw in the flashback, like 20 times. But this is different. There's no one he can't. Luffy can't defeat all of Big Mom's crew members and her and just stroll off the island. Even if he did, Luffy isn't gonna kill every single one of them, and then they could just go after Zeph in the end. And Sanji knows that, which is if Sanji didn't have to protect Zeph, then it would be okay. Like, no one could stop him from leaving. But he has to, because Zeph has been his real father to him the whole time. That's what made him kick Luffy at that split moment decision. But Luffy doesn't really think. He's just gonna, like, if even if Sanji like fully explains it to Luffy, Luffy isn't gonna listen. He's just gonna say, "Just come. We'll protect Zeph if we have to. If they go after him." And Luffy can't even get to the Luffy acts as if he can get to the East Blue in 2 seconds, or send somebody to protect them in like a minute or something. Like Luffy isn't gonna do that either. Luffy's one-track mind and small crew can't pull what Big Ma can. And if you can remember Zoro's speech from Zhao, he said that they had to focus on beating Kaido, but Sanji is involved with Big Mom right now. So Luffy's kind of stuck on this island until he can get Sanji back, and he knows the only way he can get him back is before the wedding, which he probably isn't going to be able to pull off. But then again, we'll have to wait and see. We already know Oda's a genius, so he can write up a plot that makes sense so that they can somehow get Sanji back and leave this island without having to fight even. Like, Oda's capable of that. But we'll just have to wait and see what he does. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention that I was talking about before is the glow. So Sanji's brothers also use like kicks, techniques, or we've seen Niji use a kick when he was trying to attack Cosette. And I'm not sure, but when we saw Sanji face Yonji, I believe Yonji used a kicking technique too. So I think they all have different types of powers inside like their legs or something, or it's just like a family trait. I know Sanji didn't learn it from them, but it could just be in his blood to know it. And he might have been like a failure, like his dad said, because he couldn't use this technique before. But now that he has it, he could be on par with them, but we don't really know. But he was able to beat Yonji, and I'm assuming their strength isn't just based on numbers. Well, actually, it probably could be, but we don't really know that either. There are a lot of questions I have for this entire arc so far, and it's been really good so far. I definitely didn't see a Sanji arc coming, even way like on Zoa. I wasn't expecting it. Anyways, those were my thoughts on this One Piece special. Let me know what you guys thought of this special in the comment section below. I personally thought it was great. I actually only give it a 9 out of 10, and that's actually really high because there's a lot of like I read the manga after chapter after. I usually only watch the anime, but I was actually wondering, is there really this much flashback in a row? And all this flashback that was in the special isn't in the manga. So I went back and like compared it to that, and by comparing it to that, even if I didn't have to compare it, I'd say there was too much flashback, even if it was in the manga or anime. So that's only a 9 out of 10. Other than that, the special was great, and it was exactly how it was titled, a heartfelt duel, Luffy versus Sanji. Not to mention the animation was great for this episode or special. It was like almost movie quality. I was surprised. But I guess they can use the budget they have every once in a while. Anyways, those were my thoughts. Thanks for watching and bye.